Okay, so let's see here. After our 1 minute break here, where are we? So we got our competences, views. Let's go back to our to do. Whenever I start, I get to do. So now I need to have the instructor see the update student competence, and we can just have that be in the profile, and then that'll pass. So maybe I can put a little button right here, or maybe a button at the bottom. So let's just do that for now. So at the bottom will be easiest. We'll just use button primary. Alright, so we'll just update competences. And this can be an a link, and the href will go to, remember we always want to keep things as restful as possible, so we'll say this is going to be users, and then I think we have the user ID, right? Yeah, so user.id competences. That should be like the index path of the competences. It'll sort of be like that. It'll be an index of their competences, I guess. Oh, we can always update it later. So now we're making a new route. Let's just look at that. And then once it's there, we can update competences. When we click that, it's not going to go anywhere because we don't have that route defined. So let's define that route. We'll put it down where users are. So here's a user profile. We'll just put that right underneath it. So it'll be route users ID competences. And it'll go to competences index. So we'll go into our views, templates, and it looks like we can do competences index here. .jade. Okay, so now we're here. And we're going to need to have a controller, so we'll say user, we'll say competences controller. And you know, we can just put that in the user's controller file just to make our lives easy because it has to do with the user. Although it does have to do with the resource competences. Whatever, we'll just do it here for now. Competences index controller. So you notice that it's a little bit hairy. Our restfulness is a little bit hairy here because competences are technically a resource, but they're a resource that's embedded inside of users. So I could make a whole separate set of files, or I could kind of just put the files and the code all kind of in with the users. I'm just electing to do that right now because it's so little code. It's not like a full set of routes, so we're just going to keep it inside the user. Although I do want to make a separate competences resource here. Well, unless I just put it inside of users as well. No, let's make a separate one. So we'll call it competences.js. And then we'll just take the user code as our model. We'll paste it in there. But then we just don't need this question answer with this garbage. Query string. I don't know what any of this stuff is for. Oh, this is all for the user stuff. We don't need this. Request, query string, blah, blah. Config, if I need auth. And we'll say competence equals require. Models. Competence.js. Now you're going to say, where is competence.js? Well, guess what? We're going to build it right now. Going a little bit out of order here. So let's say you know what, actually, if I even need any of this, what is this going to be? Let me see, wait a second. So user will have competence inside of it. So this will be like it'll be an array of competences. And competence will be like that. So we're going to just take some code. We're not going to need to paginate competences ever. Create at update at will always be the same. What's our data type? Do we have user, course? Nope. Comment? Nope. User, that'll be instructor. So this will be the person who certified them. That'll be required. And then let's look at our to-do. Now you're gonna think, oh, here we go. So we have all, there's our base here. So we have create at, update at, name required, and then we don't have a due date. We have a level. Whoa. So we'll do level number. Or I guess we can just follow the more verbose. Okay, type number required true. And then note, which will not be required, but will also be here, type string. Okay, cool. So now I have updated at name, level, instructor, ID, note. Okay, so that's our competence schema, and let's just make sure we're exporting competence instead of post anymore, because remember I used the post code. Okay, so that looks pretty good for the schema for competence. Now I'm going to load that into the user here by requiring it, and then I'm going to put it into an array of competences embedded inside the user here. Pretty sure that's the Mongoose stuff. We'll see. Okay, so now we're in the competences, and the first thing, so just when we get into the competences index controller, all we need to do is get the current user. We already have the current user. So where is our competence? Here's our competence index controller. So we're just going to get the API me. That's API/me is the current user. And then we don't need the current user's posts because it's just going to be their competences. So we should now see their competences here. In order to see this, we can go to competences index, and we can say user dot, or you can just say user, and then now we'll see it when we go to it. Uh-oh, did we break something? Hey-oh, crashed. Cannot find module competence.js. Competence.js. I assume it means is here in our user, it can't find competence.js, but it should be right here. So it should, I need to tell it to look like, yep, nope, still can't find it. How the hell do I do this thing? This is just require JS. It's just a let's see here. Like that? No. Mongoose paginate. I don't need to paginate. So that fixed it. Here, Mongoose paginate, don't need that, because we're not going to paginate the competences. Okay, so that fixed it. So the problem was just dot slash instead of not dot slash, whatever. You always make little mistakes like that, and that is a-okay, because it ain't gonna hurt nobody. Update competences. Okay, so here we go. Competences. Look, an empty array. That's good. That's what we wanted. An empty array. So now our users have an empty array of competences because we set up our module and we are in competence index. We're seeing the user. So what we want to do here is we want to display. Well, now we get down to our question. So how do we do it? I think we should do it with this plus minus buttons because that seems to be like the easiest possible thing. That seems really, really easy. So that's kind of what I want to do. So we're going to lose a lot of the ability to track who did what, but it's going to make it really easy for instructors to make things as loyal to reality as possible. And that's probably the best thing because we don't want to take a lot of instructor time to do things. Teachers hate paperwork. Maybe everyone hates paperwork, but teachers especially hate paperwork. So you want to reduce as much paperwork as possible. Even if you'd have better kind of logging and better resources later, you don't want to make the teachers unhappy by making them do a bunch of paperwork. So I'm going to make the easiest possible way, which is just plus and minus buttons on each competence. So we have to display all the competences. So let's do the competences. Let's do API/competences. And let's get all the competences. And we want to ensure authenticated. What is this? Oh, yeah, competences. Okay. So let's just do an array of competences that are hard-coded right here. So in order to get that, we're going to go into Drive. Or not Drive. We can just go into the wiki because it's in the wiki. So this is what's called data in code. This is where you put. All right. So professionalism. Yeah, teamwork. Energy and agility. Leadership. Emotional intelligence. These are pretty cool. All right, communication. So this is get into core. I'll just separate it like that. Core, communication, productivity, project management, product management, code craftsmanship, computer science fundamentals, and then product development and entrepreneurship. And then technical, we just have this whole list, so I'll just take like whatever's there. Boom. And these are all crazy. And then skills will be put in there too. So we can grab all these guys. If we're really going to do this loyally, if we're going to really, model the data loyally, let's just do it really right. So we'll just say competences equals an object, and then there's three types. There's core, which will be an array, character, which is an array, and then there's technical, which is an array. And we'll put commas after each of those, and then we'll just put each one inside there. So this is a little bit weird, right? Because this is not a database table, you will notice, or a collection in a NoSQL database. This is just me just hard coding in. So that's kind of weird, right? Because that means, and we can say skill, I guess. That's kind of weird. Why don't I have a database, of these? Well, I can just do it hard-coded for now, and then if I need a database later, I can always move into a database. So now in the competence index, I'm also going to do an HTTP GET to API/competences, and then function response. If I want this response to turn orange, I can orangey glad that I turned it orange. Yep. All right, let's see. Scope.competences equals response.data. So now I'll go and be getting that from the server, and I'll return these four different ones. And if we just want to see those, we can put in competences, and we'll see all of them. Oh my god, what is all this crazy junk? Ooh, it didn't work. Let's look at what happened here. So it looks like so now I have this resources API competences, but as you might have already guessed, this is not a thing yet. So let's look at our server file. See, I haven't done this. Now, do I even need to do any of this? Couldn't I just hard code it into the controller? Yes, I could. That would be very smart. Maybe I should just do that. Why do I have this here at all? Why don't I just go like this? Absolutely right. Why don't I just do that? Much easier. Okay, there it is. Scope.competences. Okay. Yay. All right, there they all are. Okay, we got them. So now I need to actually make some kind of view here. So let's do ng repeat competence in competences. Let's see here. I didn't really structure this data very well. This is getting a little hairy. So the user doesn't have any competences because that's what we're trying to do. So we just need to see all the competences to begin with. So instead of doing it this way, we're going to do it this way. So we're going to instead make each of these an object, which will have a name and a level. Let's start with a level 0. Make that. Okay, so now we have a name and a level. So when we see this, we should, oh, enhanced dictation. I don't need that. All right. Got an error. Competence controller is not, so we have a little bit of a hiccup here. So competences, array, objects. Let's see here. Syntax error line 90. Ah, comma. God, all those commas get you. Okay, there they are. So now what we want to do is we want to see it. Remember, it's outside in development, so we don't have to worry too much right now about anything except for how it looks. Icon, ion. I have this nice library, ionicons, added to, and we're going to use that to get a plus and a minus icon. So let's do this guy, plus, icon plus circled. And we're going to do minus. Oh, guess what? Ion minus circled. Makes perfect sense. And in order to do this properly, we're going to do container. Do I already have a container? Is everything a container? No, I don't think it is. So we'll do container row col sm8 col sm offset 2 row col sm1, and that will have this, and then col sm1, and then that'll have this, and then the competences will be inside of col sm10. Whoa, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Oh, because this is like way over here. There we go. Hey, it's kind of neat. And we can put, it's kind of cool. Cool, so then the competence level can go in between them, actually. Why are these all green? Why are these all green? Oh, they are green. Classes are green. Okay, because there's no HTML elements. Okay, col sm1. Do that, and then this will be 9, because it's 3 and 9 is 12. Cool, that's kind of cool. Look at that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We can do this SX. Why is it not working? We're slowly moving towards the right thing here. Let's see here. We gotta get these in one dang row. Col XS1. Why isn't this working? Oh, SX. Ah, I'm dumb. These are supposed to be XS, not SX. There we go. All right, professionalism, teamwork. Well, that's pretty good. I kind of like them where they're vertical. But then I want this guy to get in the middle here. It's kind of cool. This is pretty sweet. What if we did 4? Trying to get this number to float in the middle. Professionalism, teamwork. It's kind of interesting. Well, anyways, there they all are. It's just too small. I was thinking it'd be nice to have a grid of them. That's not very pretty yet. Okay, whatever. So these guys are going to be, when I click on them, they're going to up professionalism. They're going to make it so that ng click update increment competence. We're going to send the competence name. And then we're going to do the same thing, but it's going to be decrement competence. Competence name. Let's just do increment for now. So we're inside the competences here, and we got to say scope dot increment competence equals function, and the function is going to come in with the competence name. And now we can say HTTP put API slash users slash, and that's going to be the scope dot user dot ID underscore ID plus competences. So that'll be competences. Yeah, put competences. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so now we can go to our API get compasses. So the person needs to be authenticated. Request, and then this will be, we'll have to get the current user. We don't need their enrolled courses or that, or any of that, just that. Now we just need the user, and we're not going to send it to anyone though. Well, I guess we could. But the first thing we need to do is we need to update that user's competences. We're going to need Lodash, I think, because remember the competencies will all be embedded inside of it. So we're going to have to say, we're going to have to find, so find by name. And then if they're not there, if none found, if found, update level, increment level, else create and set level to 1. So first we have to find by the name that's sent in. So where I remember my find in array by key or by attribute. There we go, by attribute. Find predicate returns truthy. So here we go. So Barney, Fred, Pebbles, age 1 active true. So we say find user stack. Okay, so we'll use this as our model. So find user competencies. Name is the same as rec.body.name, because remember we sent in the name, correct? Put user competencies. I have to send in the name. There, so now we sent in the name. Cool. Okay, so we'll say var competence equals blah, blah, blah. If competence is there, do one thing. Else add to user and set level to 1. Okay. Either way, we're going to return user. So if competence how do you do JavaScript increment? I always forget the increment operator. Plus plus. So competence plus plus, is that right? I don't really know exactly, so I'm just going to test it. So if I go in here and I say a equals 10, 10 plus plus, 10 plus plus 10 plus plus a, 12 plus a, 12, a plus plus, 12, a plus plus, 13, a plus plus, 14, a plus plus, 15. Okay, so we're going to do a plus plus. So competence.level plus plus. Now the question is, does that make a duplicate or does that actually update it? need to update an embedded document, as is usual here. Okay. None of this looks very good. Not that logging in makes any difference right now, but it is good to be incrementing some of the questions that are helpful. Here we go, subdocuments. So I'm just going to assume this works. It probably doesn't, but I'm just going to assume it works so that I can keep moving. So I'm just going to push in a new competence. I'm going to use the rec.body.name. We're going to remember what are the required, so name and level are required, and then the instructor is me is required. So that's what we're going to do. So I need the current user. So we're going to get the current user's ID like this. So now we're getting the current user's ID, so we can put it in here. Instructor is the current user ID. And then remember it needs a level, which will be 1. Nice. And then we'll say user save. So that can be good. So parent children push is new parent save. Looks good. Or I can do create. Okay. So we're going to push the new competence into his competence list, and we're going to save it. We don't need the email address. We're just going to use that. All right. I'm going to send the user. Okay. So at first it shouldn't work. We're going to send back the user, or we could say create. We could say send back the competence. So either way, we're going to send back the competence, which is pretty good. And we want to do it after this work has been done. Let's see. Usually if you do 2 res's, it makes things mad. This might not work. Let's see. Nice. Not found. Okay. API users dash competences put. It's not been found. Users ID. So now it should be found because you see I forgot to put users in there. Boom. Oh, it didn't do anything, but it did change, so that's good. Heyo. Connection refused. Ooh, that's good. Okay. Competences create is not a function. So we got all the way to here, so good. So competence was not found, that's good. Now, user competences create. What didn't that does what the documentation just said would work. Parent, children, parent, parent. Parent, children, push, or I can do parent, children, create. Competences. That's it, user competences. Well, that's annoying. We could do a debugger here, but I'm just going to do, yeah, it's an array. All right, let's just try and do this push. So see how this says competence schema, the model? I need to do this schema, not the actual model. So this is not right. I need this to go here. So if we just get rid of this, inside the user schema, we're going to add the competence schema. Okay, so now I just pulled the guts of the deal out here, the competence. So this is the competence. And then this is the user schema. I know this is messy to have this in one file, but that's actually the way they generally do subdocuments in Mongoose. So it gets a little bit weird, but it's going to work because it's all there. So now let's see if this works. I actually want to put that create back because I like that better. Now I think the create will work. But let's try it. It worked. Look at that. Boom. Came back. Oh, didn't come back though. Let's see what happened. So we can see the competences. Yeah, look at that. Whoa, professionalism got incremented by 1. Wow. That's good. And if we do teamwork, what happens then? Nothing's returning. That's kind of annoying. Send competence. Send competence. Ah, there it is. Professionalism 2, teamwork 2. Nice. Okay, so I don't need this. So I guess this should work. Energy and agility. No preview. That's weird. Emotional intelligence. Oh, so it only comes back. So this one works, but the other one doesn't. So this works, but this one doesn't. So why is that the case? Or sorry, this one works, and this one doesn't work. So here the competence is nothing. Well, let's just try this then. We don't need all that junk. We don't need all that junk. Let's try that. Okay, God dang it. Why does it come back? Oh, probably because it's happening out of, there we go, now it'll be better. Doy. Alright, so the whole reason was that it was just an out of order, so let's put it so it was actually creating it, which I like better anyways. I like this create stuff, it's cool. There, now it'll be available. Okay. Now we're not doing any error handling right now, which is a little bit messy, but we'll see. Ah, God damn it. Huh, it's still not working. That's so weird. So let's see, I should have a whole bunch of different competences now. Yeah, look at that. Whoa. So many competences. Teamwork, productivity. Wait, what if I hit up productivity again? So if I refresh me, the me productivity should just be the same, but incremented one. I shouldn't create more. Oh no, look. It's not incrementing. That's interesting. So that means that this is not, that this isn't actually part of this object. This is just, so it's not being saved properly. Okay, cool. So basically what I need to do here is I need to save competence increment, update subdocument competence with increment level. It should be something like inc. That's like the increment function. But then that'll work. And then this down here needs to send back the competence when I first do it. And right now, when I go down and click 1, right now competence equals 9, which is weird. So let's just use this. That should work. Yeah, there we go. So now I'll be able to say level 1. And then we should be able to update it. I think that'll work. Or I could just send back the user, and then I could update the whole damn list. It's a little easier. Just make this easier. So then whenever we do increment, or I could say update, and it could be, so if I don't want to make 2 functions with 2 routes, I could just do this as update competence, and then it would be, well, we could do 2, increment competence and decrement competence. So this would be competence increment, and then this would be competence decrement. And this would be competence increment. But that's a little bit too much. I don't want to make 2 routes. That's so annoying. I'll just make 1 route. We don't need this. So I'll do that later. But yeah, so once the HT put happens, then I'll want to say then function response, and this will just want to say scope user equals response data, because just the user will come back, and I'll just replace the user in scope, and that will update the number of the one I clicked on. Sweet. So that started to get kind of hairy there, but it's kind of interesting. The next thing I need to do is so the next things I need to do are, so I made the buttons, I made that, I made that. So the next thing I need to do is inside the competences index, I need to display the current user's competence levels. I need to make sure that it will, when increment, decrement, update competence levels. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So once I do those, then now I should actually be able to go back already to my profile and see all my competence levels there soon. But I don't see them. Oh, that's too bad. So I need to check see user competence levels. Oh, I think I can do that way. So in my profile, remember it was, these are user competences, and that was these, but now I can just get rid of that, and it should be the proper ones now. Yeah, look at that. Yay, there's all my competences that I did from here. Now remember, they weren't incrementing properly, so we need to, when increment, decrement, save competence levels to DB, and then update competence levels in view. Great, so if I do all those things, then I'll be done. But I don't have time to finish right now, so I'm going to be done working with you guys right now. So tune in next time.